Hearing the name Netherlands, the first thing that often comes to mind is the beauty of this country, famously known as the land of windmills. This nickname is not just a metaphor, but a reflection of reality, as the Netherlands boasts numerous windmills spread across its landscape. There are more than 1,000 windmills from the year 1850 that are still standing today. These windmills were initially utilized as an energy source for the dike and pump systems. These dike and pump systems were essential for land reclamation, lowering the land below sea level to prevent flooding or high tides. Because of this, many windmills have become iconic symbols of the country. However, let's put windmills aside for a moment, as there are still several unexpected things happening in this country that can leave everyone astonished. Let's start with the fact that marijuana is legal in the land of windmills. The idea of licensing marijuana sales was introduced in 1976 to separate hard drugs and soft drugs in the Netherlands. Marijuana falls into the soft drugs category in this country. Even so, there are some rules for selling marijuana. Coffee shops are not allowed to serve alcohol or any other drugs besides marijuana. Buyers must also be 18 years or older. The Dutch government also prohibits coffee shops from opening near schools, requiring a minimum distance of 250 meters. In addition to coffee shops, marijuana can also be found at street vendors, and the price is quite affordable, only around $2. To attract buyers, marijuana is sold in unique forms, including lollipops, brownies, chocolate bars, and there is even a marijuana museum. Different cities have different rules regarding marijuana consumption for tourists. For example, the city of Maastricht still prohibits coffee shops from selling marijuana to tourists. Meanwhile, Amsterdam still allows marijuana consumption for tourists, although there are rumors that this rule might be revised to reduce the number of tourists using marijuana in the city. Although you can hang out for a long time in coffee shops, the Dutch government still limits the dose of marijuana that can be enjoyed per person per day. One person can only consume 5 grams of marijuana per day. More than that, be prepared to deal with Dutch law. Also, don't be greedy by buying large quantities of marijuana, as the tradition in the Netherlands is to share with friends rather than enjoying it alone in excessive doses. For tourists, it's best not to consume marijuana in open public spaces. Although there is no prohibition, the smoke can disturb people nearby, similar to smoking. Those who consume recklessly and disturb public peace will also be punished strictly. So make sure to ask the coffee shop manager or your accommodation about the rules for enjoying marijuana in their area. If you want to enjoy it in a park, try to consume a small amount and stay away from crowds and children. In addition to marijuana and alcohol, free sex is also considered legal in this country. It's no surprise that there is a legal prostitution area there, known as the red light district. Sex workers are required to pay taxes to the government, and to maintain their privacy, there is a strict ban on taking photos without permission. So, if you're planning to visit this place, there are a few unwritten rules you need to follow. The first rule is the prohibition of taking pictures. As mentioned earlier, the privacy of the sex workers is highly protected in this area. Next, when the curtains and the windows are closed and illuminated red, it means the workers already have a client. If the curtains are blue, it signifies that the worker is a transgender sex worker. Additionally, an area called De Valen even features a sex museum named the Sex Museum. In addition to liberal attitudes towards casual sex, this country also legalized same-sex marriage. This regulation is even enshrined in the national law. The history of this began in 2001. In fact, Job Cohen, who was the mayor of Amsterdam at that time, officiated the marriage of 4 same-sex couples at midnight on the 1st to mark the legalization of same-sex marriage in their country. It's no surprise that the Netherlands has become one of the favorite destinations for the LGBT community. This has made the country one of the most LGBT-friendly in the world, with many gay bars established in various locations. They have also erected the Homo Monument in the city center to honor gay men and women. Unfortunately, despite the Netherlands' relatively liberal laws, human trafficking and forced labor in companies still occur frequently. There are even 100 to 200 cases per year. Alright, don't be too surprised by this fact. Although life in the Netherlands is quite liberal, this country actually has a very low number of prisoners. While most countries strive to minimize crime and keep prisons empty, the Netherlands does the opposite. They import prisoners so that their prison budget can be utilized. This is because the crime rate in the Netherlands is extremely low. In fact, a study shows that there are only 61 people who commit crimes for every 100,000 population. Even among all the crimes committed in the country, not all result in prison time. Out of a population of about 17.7 million in the Netherlands, there are only 9,810 reported cases. That's why the Netherlands lends its facilities to other countries, importing 240 prisoners from Norway to fill their prisons. In 2013, at least 19 prisons in the Netherlands were closed, and in 2017, another 5 prisons were shut down. To date, dozens of prisons have been closed due to the scarcity of prisoners. Despite living in wealth and the Netherlands being listed as a rich country, it surprisingly has very limited land for cemeteries. Consequently, Dutch citizens cannot purchase a single plot of land for a burial site. They can only rent it for a period of 5 to 20 years. Moreover, funeral ceremonies in the Netherlands are considered quite expensive. The higher the social status, the grander the funeral ceremony. It is not uncommon for families to spend a significant amount of money, sometimes even selling part of their possessions to cover the costs. Not only are the funeral ceremonies costly, but the stones used for headstones are also not just any ordinary stones. Headstones in the Netherlands are typically made from Blue Mountain stone, Ardoin or Blauwsteen, or hard coastal stone, Kooststeen, which are imported from Sandras, southern India. These stones are mined from the slopes of Tamil Nadu Hill on the Coromandel coast. Lastly, it's important to note that the Netherlands has virtually no natural resources. This is because 2/3 of the country's land lies below sea level, so don't expect to find dense forests or mountains in this country. This aspect makes the Netherlands seem somewhat unfortunate, as it can be imagined that their country could collapse at any time. Consequently, they have developed hydroengineering technology to support homes above the water's surface. Despite these advancements, some studies suggest that homes in the Netherlands may collapse within the next 30 years. This is evidenced by some houses already showing cracks and the rising sea levels. Nevertheless, the Netherlands has managed to become a leading country in the agricultural and horticultural industries. They have even successfully developed various industries in the fields of transportation and water resources. It's no wonder, then, that the Netherlands has a high per capita income, reaching $60 million. This makes the Netherlands a significant player on the global economic map.